Imagine a peaceful village called Bethany, located just outside Jerusalem. There lived a beloved family. A brother named Lazarus and his two sisters, Martha and Mary. This family was not only well known in the community, but also shared a special bond with Jesus. He loved them deeply, and whenever he could, he visited them, sharing moments of joy, learning, and comfort. But one day, the peace of that home was shattered by frightening news. Lazarus was gravely ill. Something very serious was happening to him. The sisters, anxious and worried, knew that Jesus could help after all. He had already performed incredible miracles. With faith and hope, they sent an urgent message to Jesus. "Lord, the one you love is sick." We can imagine the anguish behind those words. They carried a mix of fear, hope, and plea. However, Jesus was some distance away and chose not to go immediately to Bethany. He stayed where he was for 2 more days. Why would Jesus delay? Did he not care? Or did he have a greater plan? Something no one could have imagined. Meanwhile, the situation worsened. Lazarus died. Yes, he died. Sadness filled the house, and grief overwhelmed the hearts of Martha, Mary, and everyone who loved Lazarus. When Jesus finally decided to go to Bethany, 4 days had already passed since Lazarus' death. This detail is important because in Jewish culture at that time, a body would begin to decay after 3 days. So, to everyone, hope was lost. Upon arrival, Jesus was greeted by Martha, who was full of pain and confusion. She came close to him and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." That was a phrase heavy with emotion, a mix of reproach and hope. But Martha also said something incredible. "Yet I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus answered with words that still resonate today. "Your brother will rise again." Martha, still confused, replied, "I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Then Jesus said one of the most profound and life-filled statements in the Bible. "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live, and everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die." This moment marked something far greater than a miracle. Jesus was revealing who he truly is, the source of eternal life, the one who holds power over death. Mary, the younger sister, heard that Jesus was there and ran to meet him. She threw herself at his feet, weeping deeply. The grief was palpable, and Jesus, seeing that sorrow, was moved with compassion. In one of the most human and touching moments in the Bible, we read that Jesus wept. Jesus wept in the face of death's pain, in the loss of his friend. This act shows that even though he is the Son of God, he deeply cares about human suffering. He is not a distant, indifferent God, but one who feels alongside us. Jesus then approached Lazarus' tomb, a dark, cold cave sealed with a heavy stone. To reach Lazarus, that stone had to be removed, a challenging task. Martha warned, "Lord, by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been dead for days." But Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So the stone was taken away. Jesus lifted his voice and called out with authority, "Lazarus, come out!" And something extraordinary happened. The man who had been dead for 4 days, wrapped in burial cloths, began to walk out of the tomb, alive, breathing, resurrected. The crowd that was there was stunned, amazed by Jesus' power. It was confirmation that he had absolute dominion over life and death. But what does this story mean for us today? It's more than just a miracle. It is a profound message of hope. In moments when everything seems lost, when we face deaths in our lives, whether it's the loss of a dream, a relationship, or hope, Jesus shows us that he can bring life where there is only death. He is the hope for the hopeless, the light for those walking in darkness. What happened with Lazarus is an invitation to believe that, with Jesus, there is always a new beginning. Final reflection. This story teaches us about faith, patience, compassion, and the transformative power of God. Jesus never promised we would never face difficult times, but he promised to be with us through them and to give us life abundant and eternal life. If you are going through a difficult time, remember, the same Jesus who called Lazarus out of death is ready to lift you up and renew your hope. If you liked this story, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring and life-changing videos. See you next time!